what we're going to tackle now is we're going to go ahead and talk about installing Proxmox. We're going to give you a quick overview of Proxmox, and then I'm going to give you the link to the actual Proxmox full install video, which will be on my personal channel. So let's just go ahead and jump right into installing Proxmox. So the first thing you're going to need is a computer to install it on. Now the one I have is, I got it from Amazon. There's a link to it in the description below. And I recommend one with similar specs. You want at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. The hard drive size doesn't really matter, because what you want is you want to get an external SSD hard drive and use that for storing everything. So you want to put your operating system, your Proxmox operating system and stuff on the internal hard drive, and everything else you're going to do, you're going to put on the external hard drive. And the biggest reason why is because that takes a lot of the strain and stress off of that internally. And then if you do have something happen to that Proxmox server, you can be back up and running like that. It won't take you any time at all. And I recommend get as much RAM as you can afford for your box. Once you get all that done, you can go to the Proxmox website, links in the description below, and go ahead and get that installed. Putting Proxmox on your machine is pretty simple. Go over here to proxmox.com. You want to go to downloads, and you're going to download right here Proxmox VE, which is virtual environment, ISO installer. And as we're filming this, version 7.2-1 is the most current one. And you just download it, and it's a .iso file. Burn that onto a USB drive, and then take the USB drive and boot to it on your little black box. How do we do that? Again, that's pretty easy as well. Depending on everything I have is Windows based, so we're just going to go with that. I use a program called Etcher, and with that, and a link to that's in the description below as well. Here it is at etcher.net. Etcher is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And if you're using Etcher, it'll come up with this little program right here. You can choose flash from file, flash from URL, or clone a drive. You want to flash from file because you've downloaded that Proxmox file. So you just click on that, go to wherever it was you downloaded it to, select it, your target, that's going to be the USB drive that you have plugged in that you're going to be booting to. Now, this is going to erase everything on that USB drive, so make sure there's nothing on it that you want to keep. Then you just click on flash, and it flashes it. Once it's done, it'll let you know. You take that out, you put it into your little black box computer, and then you boot it up. Now, one thing that is going to probably help you a whole lot with this is be able to plug in a monitor to that box so you can actually see what's going on. Even better is if you have a keyboard and mouse that you can use to plug into that. Now what I did is I don't have a separate monitor laying around, but I do have a USB cable. Now that box comes with 2 HDMI outputs, so I just took one of the HDMI outputs and plugged it into my TV. Got a big monitor. And I bought a cheap USB wireless mouse and keyboard combo off of Amazon. A link to that one's in the description below as well. And now I have a keyboard, I have a mouse, and I have a screen. So I can work directly on that. I don't need to try to do anything funny with my computer. Now that that's done, we actually do go over to the computer, plug that in, and just once we boot it up. Now you may have to change something in the BIOS of that computer to get it to boot off a USB. It really depends on what you buy, so read the directions on that may have come with it. Hopefully something came with it. Pay attention to the screen when it starts booting up, because it may say press F8 or something like that for boot options. For a lot of computers, it'll just boot right in the USB and start installing. So just let it install, let it roll, let it do its thing. Defaults for everything, and let's see how that actually looks. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install Proxmox. And once you get it to boot up, it's going to come to this screen, install Proxmox VM, or VE, excuse me. So just hit enter. Any prompts come up, well, just answer the questions. It's very important for you to have everything connected that you want to connect to this. Hard drives, wireless access points, network interfaces, whatever. It's a lot easier if it's all connected beforehand, especially on the network side. Target hard disk, make sure that it is pointing towards the hard drive and not the USB stick. And you go to next. Your country, select your time zone, keyboard layout, give it a password, email address, next. Now you can pick the management interface. With this one here, we only have one interface connected to it. The IP address, gateway, DNS server. This is the IP address of this box. The gateway is where it gets out, and DNS server is where he gets all that information from. You go check, make sure everything is right, and then you're going to hit install. And it's going to start installing. Now the nice thing too about this is once you do have it installed, creating virtual machines, super quick and easy. Restoring from backup, super quick and easy. It's really nice if you have younger kids because you can actually have a virtual machine just for them, and you can, if you're limited on actual computers, so you can spin up that virtual machine for them. They can play on it, and if they totally destroy it because they've accidentally downloaded something, malware or whatever, it just messes up that virtual machine. You can either restore from a backup real quick or just delete it altogether, no harm, no foul. And this is going to go pretty quick because I'm only installing this on a 32 gig hard drive. Doesn't need a lot of hard drive space, but you will need a lot of hard drive space for your virtual machines and stuff. I do have a 2 terabyte drive that I'm using. I had it laying around, so I'm using the 2 terabyte drive to host all of my VMs and my backups. Okay, we're almost done now. We're making the system bootable. As you can see on the screen now, it says one thing you can do is live migrations, which means you can move your running server from one physical host to another without downtime. You can actually have more than one Proxmox server, and you can have them clustered together, and then they just run all the time. If one dies, the other one picks up the slack. All right, now it's telling us to reboot. Make a note of this address because, well, it's rebooting itself, because that's where we're going to go to be able to log in to our brand new Proxmox virtual environment server as it's booting up right now. So once you get to the login screen, you type in that password that you set earlier, and you're going to get a pop-up about not having an active subscription. That's okay because you don't have one. You don't need one. You can purchase a subscription if you want, and that just gives you updates and some tech support. So a subscription for this is not required. So we've got Proxmox installed. Now it's time to add some virtual machines. We're going to do that in the next video. So thanks for watching. Hang on, we're going to be doing some amazing things for your RV or home, whichever or both. We're going to make them smart. We're going to make them easy for you. We're going to automate a bunch of stuff. Hang in there.